Now, this would be probably the last Spider-Man video I make before the actual movie drops and I review it. I'm just gonna jump right into it. This is a Chinese plot leak from Reddit. Okay, so the first thing that's mentioned, Doctor Strange fails to cast his spell and disagrees with Peter on how to handle the villains. Toby doesn't die, but gets stabbed by the Green Goblin to prevent Tom's Peter from killing him. Peter and Strange have a close battle, but Peter wins and confiscates the magic weapon and steals Strange's sling ring. The ring gets handed to Ned. Ned and MJ get separated from Peter. Ned and MJ try using the sling ring to find Peter by saying, "Let me find Peter Parker," and opening a portal with a hooded masked person inside. The hooded masked person steps out and it's Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Ned and MJ make Andrew's Peter prove they're Spider-Man by forcing him to climb walls. Ned tries again, and Toby's Peter comes out in casual clothes. The part where Peter gets soul beads is very interesting. After Spider-Man wears it, he can automatically avoid Strange's movement. It's his inspiration. Ned is rescued by the Cloak, looking like a fat sorcerer supreme. He can only open the portals and not close them. In the second half of the film, the Spider-Men appear for about 30 minutes and share most of their scenes. No Miles Morales. Garfield rescues the falling MJ. Tom tries to rescue her but is stopped by the Green Goblin. Andrew comes in and saves her. Don't know about post-credit scene, this person mentions. There is no Venom, Falcon, Scorpion, Vulture, or Hulk. No real surprise MCU cameos. Daredevil appears in a short cameo and catches a brick. There is only one Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. The black and gold suit is an inside-out version of the upgraded suit with enhancements. Tom has compassion for the villains and doesn't believe they deserve to die since they were all sympathetic to a degree. May gets killed by Green Goblin. Ned, Happy, and MJ are all there. Holland's Spider-Man and the other two Spider-Men talk about the Avengers, but not Iron Man. In the trailer, the scene where Ned, MJ, and Peter laugh at Ock's name is not misleading. Doctor Strange appears throughout the film. His role is not big. When the other two Spideys appear, he is trapped somewhere without a sling ring. Later, Ned opens a portal by mistake and returns him to the final decisive battle where he gets bombed. He spends the entire battle holding the multiverse crack together. The three Spider-Men do strategize. Holland tells the other two that his world has the Avengers. To Toby and Garfield, the conversation is very beautiful. When the three team up for the final battle, they initially don't work well and are afraid of each other. The scaffolding photo takes place before the final battle, so that's that leaked image that we kept getting. Peter initially wanted Strange to turn back time to before Mysterio revealed his identity, but couldn't due to the time stone no longer existing. Strange ends up getting the idea of making everyone forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. At this point, the first two Spider-Men do not appear. Dr. Octopus ends up helping the good guys. Tom went to the bridge to convince an admissions professor to let him, MJ, and Ned into MIT, but he senses Doc Ock's appearance. The Iron Spider is absorbed by Octavius. After Ock regains his sanity, he transfers the particles back into the Iron Spider. Electro gets defeated by Octavius. Aunt May is killed by Green Goblin. Tom then tries to kill the Green Goblin, but Toby stops him, and Green Goblin stabs Toby in the back. Toby was not de-aged and looks kind of like an uncle. Aunt May says, "With great power comes great responsibility." In the ending, Doctor Strange casts a spell to send Toby and Peter back, but not before they hug and smile at each other after they disappear. So I'm about halfway through this plot leak, but just continuing on here. In the end, Doctor Strange casts a spell to send Toby. Already read that. The three most significant scenes are the bridge scene, feast, and the final battle at the Statue of Liberty. As soon as Sandman comes to help Peter, Strange enchants Peter's suit so it teleports Sand into the prison. In the trailer, the last scene of the Spider-Man dealing with Sandman, Electro, and Green Goblin is misleading. There is a shot in the trailer where Tom jumps to fight against the three villains. The real shot should be the three Spider-Men jumping to the head of the statue one by one, then fighting 3v3. It is very similar to the fan-made trailer, except that they don't jump to the head together, they jump there one by one. They also have different poses. The sequence for the landing is left, right, middle. They didn't hide Tom's landing, and it was used in the trailer. In the end, the villains actually get sent back, reformed, and they don't die in battle. The arc reactor Electro wears was left by Stark, and the villains grabbed it when they rebelled against the good guys. The villains rebelling was instigated by Green Goblin, who felt the Spider-Men were going to kill them all. Only 5 villains, no 6th. Strange failed to cast the spell because Peter kept trying to make exceptions, which caused him to lose control of it. Garfield doesn't bring up Gwen's death, but he does notice how close Peter and MJ are and is very touched. This is shown throughout close-ups. There are no ties to Doctor Strange 2. Garfield and Tobey do not appear in Feast. The air punch in the trailer was from Garfield, and he's doing backflip in that scene. In the first trailer, we see Peter run in his black and gold suit. This is because he knows Norman Osborn is at Aunt May's. He's worried she is in danger and rushes to save her. The shot of Happy in the trailer is him witnessing May's death, at the point he had just driven from Feast. Green Goblin also appeared in the bridge fight. Lizard and Sandman are played by Rhys Ifan and Thomas Hayden Church, respectively. Garfield is wearing the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. Lizard is already caught by Strange when he appears. Aunt May's scene was a point of contention. The front part of the glider stabs May as she falls down. Green Goblin tries to use a pumpkin bomb to finish her, but Tom slaps the bomb like in the trailer. Most of the damage is taken by him. Tom, Spider-Man. They help each other in the rubble and talk for a while. At first, we were led to believe May is fine, but she suddenly collapses and turns out she's fatally bleeding from the stab wound. Tom's hand is covered in blood. Electro got the reactor since Stark left Peter many technological gadgets, including a reactor. The special effects are good, and we see all three of the Spider-Men swing with coordination. Very cool. There's a shot in the trailer where John Jonah Jameson smiles at the sky, and when he sees Tom Spider, there aren't a lot of shots of John Jonah Jameson. He says the news report at the beginning. In the middle of the movie, he drives the Daily Bugle car to Feast. Tom's Spidey also contacts him to help draw out the villains. At the end of the movie, he says Spider-Man is a hero. However, whoever Doctor Strange is trying to stop from coming through in the trailer doesn't show up. It's just glowing figures. The end of the last film is the beginning of this film. Peter took MJ and fled through the sky, then underground into his house. Happy and May were flirting at home. The atmosphere was almost cheerful. At the end, Peter finds Happy at May's grave, but he doesn't remember Peter. Tobey has no web shooters, and the three discuss it. Question: did everyone forget Peter Parker entirely, or just that he was Spider-Man? Answer: after the spell, Peter went to a shop where MJ worked, and MJ no longer remembers him. When Peter went to find MJ again, he writes a note as he feels like he would be unable to speak to her. He goes to the coffee shop, sees MJ and Ned together, and leaves as if he liked seeing MJ and Ned together. The scene was very well composed. In the final scene, Peter lives alone and swings away wearing a red and blue jersey. Doctor Strange teleported Peter and Ock from the bridge, but doesn't catch Green Goblin in time. In the final battle, Ock disables Electro's reactor. Strange comes and ends up finishing the spell and doesn't appear again throughout the movie. Question: according to basic logic, when Dr. Octopus was brought in, the Green Goblin was dead, and when the Sandman was brought in, the Green Goblin / Ock was dead. Answer: Doc Ock says that Norman Osborn is dead, but it is here they meet again. In the end, everyone forgets Peter, but they do remember there is a Spider-Man. Tobey and Garfield first engage in scientific research to find antidotes to restore certain villains back to themselves. They only suit up for the final battle. Several villains have conversations with their respective Spideys. The farewell between MJ and Peter before the spell was complete before the kiss in the trailer. Tom took Strange's sling ring and took Strange far away so he couldn't get back. Only after Ned accidentally creates a portal does he return. The Doctor enchants Peter's web shooters to teleport the villains into his prison when his webs touch them. And lastly, this person mentions that when Green Goblin rebelled, Ock was already free of his arm's control and was helping Electro relieve himself. When the rest rebel, Electro takes the arc reactor and mounts it to his chest. Each villain ends up getting cured by the end. Electro's cure is a mount on his chest. Lizard's is a gas. Sandman's is a type of light. Ock's is a device on his back. And Green Goblin's is a neck syringe. And that was just posted on the Marvel Studios spoilers from someone over in China, or it was translated from a Chinese plot leak. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And remember, if you want more Spider-Man, more Marvel content from me, just subscribe. My name is Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews Spider-Man.